1809, the Danube campaign. The Austrians try once again to defeat the all-powerful Grande Armée of the Emperor Napoleon. Today, the two sides clash at the Battle of Eckmühl. Not again! Hello, I'm Bruce. Welcome to the basement. Today we refight the Battle of Eckmühl using bloody big battles. By 1809, the Austrian army had already been defeated 3 times by Napoleon Bonaparte. But in that year it rose again, like a revenant from the grave, to challenge the emperor one more time. In 1809 it was better, stronger, faster than it was before, like the $6 Million Man, if the $6 Million Man was a revenant. Led by the Austrian emperor's brother, the Archduke Charles, the Austrians invaded Napoleon's ally, Bavaria, on April 10th. They were hoping for a win over France to restore their influence in Germany. Napoleon, distracted by the war in Spain, was initially caught wrong-footed and dispatched his chief of staff, Marshal Berthier, to hold the line until he arrived in person. Berthier made a bit of a hash of things, but then Napoleon arrived and defeated the Austrians at the Battle of Ebensburg on April 20th. The two armies spent the next day maneuvering around each other, each looking for the chance to strike a crushing blow, until, on April 22nd, 1809, they clashed at the Battle of Eckmühl. Incidentally, our group argued about whether Eckmühl was in Austria or Bavaria. I insisted it was in Bavaria, but most of the others thought it was in Austria. As it turns out, I was right. Eckmühl is in Bavaria. And I found that one of the things that my group respects most about me is when I point out that I'm right and they're wrong. Today we are playing in Perry's basement, but Bob is our game master. The houses with the cotton balls on them represent villages that are worth victory points. The Austrians will be played by Ted, Eric, and Mark. Ted will play Feldmarschall Johann Colivrat. Eric is Prince Friedrich von Hohenzollern, and Mark is Prince Franz von Orsini-Rosenberg. The French are played by Perry, Gary, and myself. Perry is our Napoleon. Gary is playing Marshal Jean Lannes, while I am playing Marshal Lefebvre. At the beginning of the battle, the French are in a good position, as Mark's 4th Corps is alone against the French army, and he will have to hold until the other columns can arrive to give him aid. Napoleon wastes no time throwing his corps into action, striking against the Austrians wherever we can reach them. Lannes and Lefebvre decide where to cross the Grosse Laber, while the Austrians and Oberleichling look awfully exposed. Lefebvre's corps takes Eckmühl, and his Bavarians cross the river. Meanwhile, Lannes' troops have occupied Rogging and attack the Austrians holding the banks of the Grosse Laber. Mark's Austrians hold firm. Finally, Gary manages to fight his way across the Grosse Laber, while Napoleon advances Davout's corps against Obersanding. The French and Bavarians close in on Oberleichling, but unfortunately, due to a misreading of the rules by Game Master Bob, they find it too tough a nut to crack. Bob has permitted all-around fire from the village by the Austrian infantry and artillery, which should not be the case. Unfortunately for the French, Feldmarschall Colivrat and Prince von Hohenzollern have not been idle, and advance their columns to Rosenberg's aid. Colivrat's column begins its advance. In short order, it throws the French out of the village of Abach. Eric's grenadiers try to eject Gary's French from Rogging, but the French hold their ground. Colivrat's right hook picks up steam, sweeping the French before it. It seems Ted can do no wrong. Napoleon is in trouble. Lefebvre, that's me again, forms up for another attack on Oberleichling. I wanted to hit it with my whole corps, but I shouldn't have waited, as Mark rolled snake eyes twice in a row, followed by a 3. I might have taken the town if I'd gone in. Fortune favors the brave. Bob has run an excellent game, but our misunderstanding of the rules on villages has made them truly formidable positions. However, it doesn't really matter. The French and Dunsling make a last stand against Ted's Austrians. With Mark and Eric holding their ground, and the French left flank giving way, we decide to call the game as an Austrian victory. Well done, Austrians, and Bob, I'll get you for this. In spite of some misunderstandings over the rules about how built-up areas work, I really enjoyed the game, and I really like the Bloody Big Battles rules. They allowed us to play a full Napoleonic war game with several corps on each side in about 3 hours. They lack a certain amount of Napoleonic flavor, but they still give a pretty satisfying game. I did have an issue with some of the victory conditions in this scenario, which seemed very difficult for the French to achieve. So, what do the other players think?
I think the rules sometimes try to do too much with too little. That they're taking forces, compressing them into larger units, and then you're getting anomalies, like we said, 10,000, 15,000 guys in a village, which seems a little bit. Some factors should be probably used to reduce defensive factors to more size rather than what's in it. Your turn.
As far as the game went, I thought we did a good job of slowing up the French advance and destroying their advanced troops. Perry.
Begin with.
I think if you're a Fire and Fury aficionado, you can adapt to these rules very quickly because a lot of the systems are very similar.
Yeah.
One of the factors seem to be very minimal, but I guess because it's so high a scale, a lot of stuff that, like getting a plus for charging or other stuff doesn't happen, which is kind of unfortunate.
Does it replicate big battles with the divisions and corps and everything? Oh, that's that's a given. I think that it does, and you will get a result in your 3 hours. The scenario, I think, is flawed because of the rules design. Was flawed also the scenario design because of there was no way to stop the carts getting off the table. Your thoughts?
As Napoleon, it was a challenge to play the game because of the way that the forces are aligned. We had several towns close together that could have been taken, but the other ones were far spread out, and it would taken the whole game to get to them. So definitely the Austrians did a good job of defending. They were able to get a lot of local superiority, whereas we were having challenges facing that. So overall, well done for the Austrians.
Thanks for joining me in the basement. Until next time, may your dice always roll true.